Now you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch Marvel Comics 80th Anniversary Captain America figure from Hasbro. Now this figure here in the United States is being released as a Walmart exclusive. It has started to hit shelves now. It comes packaged in the same style that we've been seeing with all these 80th anniversary figures. You've got the box, the window box with the figure clearly displayed up in the corner. You've got the Marvel 80 years anniversary logo. In the other corner, the left side, you've got the Legend Series logo. And then down below, you've got Captain America's name. On one side of the packaging, you've got some Alex Ross type artwork. It's the same on the other side. And then on the back of the packaging, you've got additional artwork from Alex Ross, since that's what this figure is based on. And then you have a brief bio in multiple languages. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now before I get into the review itself, I just want to let you guys know, if you missed my last news video, I announced that I'm giving away one of these figures. I actually have 2 of these figures, so this one I'm reviewing and then an unopened one. And again, I'm giving that second one away to one lucky viewer. So if you missed the video, I will put a link to it in the video description below of this review, and I do highly recommend you check that out. Now for accessories, starting off with the shield. So this is nothing we haven't seen before. So you get the basic shield itself, and it's done with a darker red and blue, and then you've got the white striping. On the underside, it's just done with the red color, and then you've got the little peg that'll plug into the figure's back if you want to store the shield there, or you can flip it up and then you can clip it on his wrist. So again, we've seen this many times with the Hasbro Marvel Legend Captain America figures, so nothing really new here. And then we also get the throwing effect, which we first saw it with the modern Captain America figure, and then they did it again with the Toy Biz vintage version. And this one is done with red translucent plastic. It's more white here towards the fingers. It's made to look like he's throwing the shield, so you get the open hand, and then you just plug the shield in, you flip it over so it's got the little peg, and you just plug it in the hole there, and then you put this hand. It's the right hand, and again, it's made to look like he's actually throwing the shield. Now here's a look at the effect piece attached, and you know, again, it's made to look like he's throwing the shield, and you can kind of pivot and turn however you want. It's okay, you know, I don't really use this piece very much, but depending on what angle you're looking at the figure, sometimes it looks good and sometimes it looks kind of funny. And then of course, if you don't want to use the effect piece, you can remove that hand and then just attach the hand that you want to replace it with. Now he comes with a pair of grip hands, and then he comes with a pair of closed fist hands. So besides the effect throwing hand, you get those 2 extra pairs of hands with this figure. And then with the shield, you can either remove it from the effect piece and just use it, you know, just clip it onto his wrists, and you know, it stays on there pretty good. Or as I prefer, you know, you can flip the peg up and then you can attach it to the hole on the back here and have it look like he's carrying it on his back. Okay, and then finally you get 2 different head sculpts on this figure. Both head sculpts are very similar looking. I believe this one, the one that's attached to the figure when you take it out of the packaging, is supposed to be the Alex Ross version. And this is the better of the 2 head sculpts. They are very similar, but I like this one a little bit better. The A is more defined on the head there. It's sculpted on there. He's got a wider chin, a little wider chin. I think the wings look a little better. The wings seem to be made with they're rubbery material, but they're a little more sturdy on this head sculpt. On the other one, I'll show you, they seem to be a little more rubbery. So I like how the wings look on this one as well. And then this is the second head sculpt. Again, you can see the A is not as well defined. The paint, you know, it looks a little thicker up at the top and everything, so I don't like that. And then you can see here the wings a little bent. Again, more rubbery on this one. So I don't know, I just don't think it looks as good, and the chin's not as wide and everything. So I believe this is supposed to be just a normal comic book based head sculpt, and then the other one, like I said, is supposed to be based on the Alex Ross artwork. Okay, now for the figure itself, I've got to say this is probably the best comic book based Captain America Marvel Legend figure that we've gotten from Hasbro. and I think they've done a nice job sculpting the chainmail here on the upper torso. That's the big difference between this figure and the previous ones that we've gotten. This figure does primarily use that Cap Wolf mold that we've seen before. This original one didn't have any chainmail, and then when they re-released this figure as part of the Toy Biz Vintage Wave, they painted the chainmail with black lines, but now they've actually sculpted it. And you know, it's also darker, the blues are darker and everything, but I really like how the sculpting chainmail looks on the figure, and is an improvement over this original one. Again, rest of the figure is pretty much the same mold. The entire torso is actually different. At first I thought maybe it was just going to be the upper torso that would be different, but the lower torso appears to be a little bit different from that original Cap Wolf mold as well. But everything else, like the arms, the lower arms, and the gloves, and the legs, and boots, and everything, are all used from that previous figure. Again, you've got the darker colors, darker blue, darker reds, but everything else is pretty much the same. So my one complaint with the chainmail, the sculpted chainmail, is when you're looking at the figure from kind of above, you'll notice, and I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but you'll see some white there where the lower arm and the upper arm meet. They didn't actually paint the inside there blue, so it's white, and that does kind of stand out a little bit. That's really my only complaint. You don't have chainmail in the neck portion, but you know, that's understandable, and you also don't have chainmail on the hinge joints here at the top. And you'll notice the blue is a little bit darker up here on the top of the shoulders. I like this metallic blue that they've used on the chainmail. It looks like actual metal when you get it in the light and everything. And then you also have the sculpting detail on the back, so I think that looks pretty good. Again, my big complaint here is that they didn't paint the top of the lower arms here blue, so when you're looking at it from certain angles, you see that white kind of sticking out a little bit, which is a little annoying. Now, one thing I want to note here, this is the original Cap Wolf figure, and this is the new one. And if you look at the newer Toy Biz Vintage version, the belt buckles, you'll notice, are reversed. And I think maybe they put the belt on upside down on this original figure. On the vintage Toy Biz Vintage one, and this new one, you'll notice the belt buckle is the right way. So I think, and I've looked at multiples of these Cap Wolf figures, so it wasn't like just with mine. It seems like they did that with all of them, and I think that was just an error. But again, you'll notice that the belt buckles are reversed. It's the same belt, they just essentially flip them, and so you've got the buckle pointing this way and the little extra belt piece pointing this way, and it's reversed on the original figure. So this figure stands just a little bit over 6.5 inches tall. Here's a comparison again of the original Cap Wolf figure, and you can see they are the same height. For one more comparison, here's a look at the Avengers Endgame Captain America figure that was also a Walmart exclusive. And this new figure is a little bit taller. I'll give you a little close-up, because with both of these figures, they actually did some sculpting detail with the armor pieces. He didn't actually have chainmail in the movie, but same kind of texturing and everything with the actual sculpting. So I just wanted to give you an up-close look at the two together. So as far as articulation goes, there's nothing new here. We've, again, this is the same body that we pretty much saw previously. So you can turn the head to the left and to the right. It's on a ball hinge joint. He can look down really good, and he can look up pretty good as well. You get a little bit of head pivot with this one, and then with the arms, you can get the arm out pretty good, and you can rotate all the way around. You get the bicep swivel, you get a double hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow that much, and then you get the rotation with the hands, and you get the hinges, so the up and down movement. He has an ab crunch type joint, so he can crunch forward about that much, and then he can look back pretty good there at the midsection. You get a waist swivel. With the legs, he can do the splits good. You can get the leg up high, and then you can do the leg out and back. You get the thigh swivel, you get the double jointed knee, you get the boot cuff swivel, you get the hinges on the feet, and of course you do get ankle pivot with this one, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So like I said before, I really think this is probably the best comic book based Marvel Legend Captain America figure that we've gotten from Hasbro. In fact, probably from Toy Biz as well. And I really like the head sculpt, the one that's attached to the figure, the Alex Ross one, I believe. I like the A on it. I like how the wings look. I like the jawline and everything. I think that's one of the best head sculpts I've seen for Cap. And then I like the sculpting detail. Even though the figure itself is primarily the same one we've seen before, the added sculpted detail with the chainmail and everything everything, I think looks really good. Now the only downside is you do see some of that white sticking out between the upper and the lower arms. It would have been nice if they'd painted the inner arm there blue so you didn't see that, but otherwise I think this is a very solid figure. Now this figure, again, here in the United States is being released as a Walmart exclusive. It is starting to hit shelves now. I am also giving away one of these figures, so do check out my previous news video. I have a link to that in the video description below, so you can get all the details on how you can enter to win if you can't find it at Walmart. And as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.